Is America hiding alien technology? Is it privy to extraterrestrial life? For decades, alien optimists have been asking these questions. This afternoon, they got another reason to. Courtesy these three men: former U.S. Navy pilot Ryan Graves, former U.S. Navy Commander David Fravor, and former U.S. intelligence officer David Grush. Earlier today, all three of them testified before the U.S. Congress. The hearing was held by the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. It had both Republican and Democrat lawmakers on board. So what did the three witnesses talk about? They spoke at length about unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, their encounters with unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, the threats that these encounters pose to national security, as well as the U.S. government's secrecy on the matter. And what they revealed was striking, to say the least. I'll start with Ryan Graves, a 37-year-old former lieutenant in the U.S. Navy. He said that there are multiple UAPs in the American airspace, but they are grossly underreported. He said that these objects have not been spotted by one or two people, but in fact by a host of military and commercial pilots. He added that the U.S. government is also aware about them, but likes to keep the information hidden. Listen in.
As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace, but they are grossly underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine. Military aircrew and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena. Parts of our government are aware of more about UAP than they let on, but excessive classification practices keep crucial information hidden. Since 2021, all UAP videos are classified as secret or above. This level of secrecy not only impedes our understanding, but fuels speculation and mystery.
And next, we have David Fravor, a former U.S. Navy commander. He recalled a specific instance when he and his co-pilot spotted what looked like mysterious white water in the ocean. Upon further inspection, they discovered an object which he described as a small white tic-tac, which was moving abruptly like a ping-pong ball.
As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some white water off our right side. It's important to note that the weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego. Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, no white caps from waves. So the white water stood out in a large blue ocean. All four of us, because we were in F-18Fs, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down a small, saw a white tic-tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south and moving very abruptly over the water like a ping-pong ball.
And lastly, we have David Charles Grush, a former U.S. intelligence official. He categorically claimed that America has aircraft of non-human origin and that they need to be treated as a legitimate issue. Take a look.
Has the U.S. government become aware of actual evidence of extraterrestrial, otherwise unexplained forms of intelligence? And if so, when do you think this first occurred?
I like to use the term non-human. I don't like to denote origin. Keeps the aperture open, both scientifically. Right. Certainly, like I've discussed publicly previously, 1930s.
Last week, White House NSC spokesman John Kirby stated that UAPs are having an impact on our training ranges and need to be treated as a legitimate issue. Do you concur with his statements? That's for each of you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are not one, not two, but three credible people who claim that the U.S. is hiding alien life. How do we view this? Are their claims even credible? Well, in the past, a UFO expert in the U.S. who would have made similar claims might have been discredited by many, but these men have credentials that are worth taking seriously. Ryan Graves is a former F-18 pilot who was apparently deployed in Operation Enduring Freedom, the official name for America's war in Afghanistan and the larger war on terrorism. David Charles Grush is a combat veteran of Afghanistan. He was a member of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, a program run by the Office of Naval Intelligence to investigate UFO sightings. And David Fravor is a graduate from the Top Gun Naval Flight School. He was one of the commanders of the F-18 squadron on board the USS Nimitz. He first claimed to have spotted a UFO during a flight off the coast of Southern California way back in 2004. So all three men have impressive credentials. It's unlikely that they would make such claims for fame. They say that their only aim is to provide an ontological shock and wake up space agencies and experts globally from their slumber. The question is, will their efforts bear fruit? We don't know. You see, America has conducted a total of 12 government-funded investigations on unidentified flying objects. Project Blue Book, Project Grudge, Project Serpo, Project Sign, Project Silverbug, to name a few. But all of these investigations have either been suspended or ended without any concrete answers. Why just America? Scientists around the world have spent their entire lifetime searching for signs of other civilizations. Some have conceded that we've got the cosmos to ourselves. Some highly doubt that that's the case. None of them have said that aliens are visiting us in UFOs. Well, not yet. But then again, good science takes time, and the human desire for scientific advancement, exploration, is insatiable. Here's hoping the testimony of these three gentlemen is able to trigger research and investigation that can finally give us some answers and some much-needed closure. Our next story is a heartbreaking tale. A tale of great efforts and yet an inexplicable tragic ending. The world had been rooting for this port of Wales. You've all seen this image by now. The pod of pilot whales was huddled together for nearly a full day. This was in the shallow waters of a remote beach in Western Australia. These images were seen by all, liked by all. Some thought it was a circle, others a line. Onlookers were thrilled. They said that it resembled a heart. Sadly, a heart which was about to break. Scientists and authorities were baffled by the behavior of these whales. They feared a mass beaching was imminent. Now listen to these sounds. These may sound like whistles, but they are actually cries for help. A beaching or a stranding is a natural phenomenon. Dolphins and whales strand themselves on land. They end up dying due to dehydration, collapsing under their own weight. We've all heard this heartbreaking story by now. Almost 100 longfin pilot whales had been stranded at the Shanes Beach in Australia's southern coast. A day later, a race was on to save 47 of them, those who had survived the night. Among those who survived were calves, along with adult whales. They cried out in whistles. A massive operation was launched. The clock was ticking. You see, a pilot whale can weigh up to 6,600 pounds. And once it is out of water, its organs are gradually crushed under its own weight, which is why out of the 100 stranded whales, 52 died, and efforts were on to move the remaining back into the water. But reports say that more than 70 volunteers and 90 officers tried everything. They set up pink ribbons to identify the whales who could be saved. They poured water to cool down the stricken whales. They tried to support the whales and hurled them back into the water. But strangely, the mammals kept beaching themselves again and again. They re-stranded themselves despite all efforts. Scientists said their behavior was odd, unusual. Something was off, they said. They had never seen this before, they said. The whales lay flat, some on their backs, huddled together, remaining still. And then all efforts came to naught. The surviving whales had to be euthanized. Authorities said that this was done to avoid prolonging their suffering. Many said it was the hardest decision of their careers. Why do whales become stranded? Were they trying to avoid a predator? Did they follow a lost member of the pod and get lost themselves? No one knows. All we know is that beach stranding is a common phenomenon. But this particular pod has attracted some attention because of its rare behavior. They huddle together before their beaching. Last September, about 200 whales were beached along the coast of Tasmania in Australia. Only 35 survived. The largest stranding ever was in 2020 when more than 450 pilot whales were found. And yet every time we see these whales lost, stranded, it breaks our heart. We hope they return to their natural habitat. This time, we can't help but wonder, why were they huddling before beaching? Experts say it's never been witnessed before. It was a day of hope and heartbreak, a huddle before saying goodbye, a heart formed before the heart broke. When you apply for a job, what are the credentials you would be judged upon? Your caliber and knowledge for the job role, your work experience, your interpersonal skills, your job portfolio. Would you expect to be judged for the shade of your skin? Is that even relevant to the job? Now, this is not hypothetical, sadly. It has actually happened, and to a woman, of course. Her name is Pratiksha Jikshar. She's from Bengaluru. She's a recruitment professional. She applied for a position in an organization, sat through 3 rounds of interviews and 1 round of an assignment. She had all the relevant skills, qualifications, and experience, and yet she was rejected. Why? This is the response she received from the organization. She shared a screenshot on her LinkedIn profile. Let me read it out for you. Thank you for interviewing with us and being patient throughout the process. Unfortunately, we cannot move ahead with you for the role at this time. We found your profile relevant and all the skills and qualifications match what we are looking for. But here's the interesting part. But we are an inclusive organization and believe in equal opportunity for all. Your skin tone is little fair for the current team. And so we don't want differences in our internal team, and we decided not to offer you the role. We wish you the best for your future endeavors. Can you believe this? Is this wokeism gone too far? Workplaces should be inclusive, they should be diverse. I can't believe I have to say this, that it is a factor influencing professional decisions in this day and age. But inclusivity covers both fair and dark-skinned people. On the one hand, this organization claims that it believes in equal opportunity, and on the other hand, it is rejecting someone based on their skin color. She's too fair, they said. Netizens are finding it bizarre to believe. And yes, these aren't the words you would expect from HR, but there have been plenty of instances when such unthinkable things have happened. Remember the Gates office controversy. Instead of being questioned for their skills and knowledge, female, and I repeat, only female applicants were asked all sorts of inappropriate questions. They were interrogated about extramarital affairs. They were asked if they had nude images on their phones, if they ever contracted a sexually transmitted disease, if they ever danced for dollars. What kind of pornography did they prefer? Yes, these were interview questions. And they were hurled at women who were seeking jobs in an organization like Gates Ventures. Truth be told, rules are different for women in workspaces. Women are asked about their marital status, if and when they plan to marry, if and when they plan to have children. How would they organize childcare for these hypothetical children? How would they balance jobs with family? Boundaries are a lost concept. Are men asked any of these questions? I doubt it. Women are judged more harshly and often for superficial things, irrelevant to the job profile. When will workspaces and workplaces let women be? We don't know which organization this is in this particular story, which is finding a woman too fair-skinned to be recruited. The woman in question has chosen against revealing names. While she may have chosen the high road, clearly the company did not. I'll say congratulations, Pratiksha, you clearly dodged a bullet.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.